Hello there. This is January the 3rd, 2023. I have a question from Doug in Denver, Colorado, and this is about raffles. An interesting question. A raffle, it's kind of like gambling. Someone wins and all the others experience loss. The whole sorted gain concept. A thought I had, though, is that people who lose gambling do enjoy the excitement of it all, a potential benefit, gain, etc. I'm curious about hearing your perspective again on gambling and if a raffle is any different really. Okay, well, the idea of a raffle is that tickets are sold and then there's a random selection to see who the winner might be. All right, now it's usually for an object of some kind, and so let's put a measurement on the object. Let's say that we have an object of value $100. It takes $100 in order to obtain this object. And then you sell 200 tickets at $1 each, just to give some kind of an example. So then you randomly select from those 200 tickets, and one of the persons who purchased that ticket, or that ticket number, they are the one who obtain the object that's worth $100 for $1. And then, of course, the other $100 from the sale of the tickets goes to whoever organized the raffle. All right? And that's usually how it works. So what happens is that you have a person who wins the raffle, and they only gave $1, and in return they obtained an object that is valued at $100, and $200 were lost in order to make that transfer. Okay, $200 were lost in order for one person to obtain the object for $1, and of course the organizer on the raffle, who probably was not participating, probably did not have a ticket, because if they won, that might look a little awkward, right? So they obtain the $100 in this example, and the other person obtains the object for the exchange of $1 in a sense. And then you got 200 people who lost $1. I mean, that's an enormous loss. All right? When you consider that in comparison with gambling is a little bit different, but it still is the pursuit of gain from someone else's loss. And that's how I view it, personally, how I see gambling and raffles and other similar constructs that people have. There's all kinds of different schemes that people come up with or they end up participating in order to obtain benefit from someone else's loss. Now, the question is well, now there is the benefit of the excitement, the excitement, and it gave you something to do, it gave you something to be excited about. There is entertainment value, and I suppose that some people might consider that to be gain, I personally, I just don't see the connection there, or at least I don't see that connection being of equal value. Let me say it that way. I don't think that the value is really worth the excitement myself, especially when you come to the end result, And so some people may look at it that way, and I won't protest that. I'm just not a person who would agree, that the excitement and the entertainment value is worth that kind of an experience, all right, because of the end result attached to it. Let me give you something that's kind of similar that you could probably relate to, especially when it comes to videos like this that are being publicly made available. What you'll find sometimes in the comments that show up through a video like this is you find people who are making comments about what they don't like about the video or the person who recorded the video, and it's just the provocation of conflict is what it is. It's the provocation of conflict, the attempt to stir up some difficulty or some trouble or whatever. And the people who are making these kinds of comments that instigate instigate conflict, they may not even have any deep convictions themselves about what they're saying. They just enjoy the stimulation of the conflict. Now there's others, there's others who just want an audience, and nobody's going to listen to them because they really are a bunch of losers, And so what they do is they find somebody else who may say something that's worth listening to. And then they try to engage in discussions with the audience there. They try to capitalize on that and say some comments and provoke thought or whatever, because they can't get an audience themselves, and so they're trying to obtain an audience from somebody else like myself who produces something that people are really interested in watching. Well, at least some things, at least. And that's what they're just desperate for attention. They're very lonely people. They're a bunch of losers, and they need to learn how to develop healthy relationships with other people. And some of these people, they're just creating conflict just because they at least get the stimulation of the negativity. A lot of people are like that. I have encountered a lot of people who just live for the stimulation of the negativity, the entertainment value in that sense. This is similar to the idea of, well, at least we get the entertainment, at least we get the stimulation of the gambling. There's lots of other ways that this can occur. But listen, folks, I really want to encourage you to obtain your stimulation in life and your entertainment in life and your purpose in life in other constructive ways. Really constructive ways instead of this dysfunctional stuff that people are just really into. There are much better ways of obtaining entertainment, of obtaining stimulation, a lot healthier ways, constructive ways that actually contributes to people's lives and to your own. And so that's what I would want to encourage people to pursue, instead of saying that this is some value of some kind, especially when it's attached to people losing. They're losing something. You're just taking something away from somebody else in order to obtain gain, or at least trying to. And of course, if you fail, well, you don't lose anything, right? Except for your own life, you're losing time and energy and effort in your life that you could have been using to do something constructive instead. So that's kind of how I look at it. But again, when I have friends who are into gambling, and I may make a comment here and there, but that's where it's going to end, and I'm still going to love them and accept them and enjoy them being my friends. After that, I just won't participate, and I hope that they are kind towards me. That they aren't just is kind of a bum. He's a party pooper or whatever. He doesn't participate in these things. Okay, you go ahead, but for me, I have other things to do. Let me know when you're done, and we'll spend some time together after that doing other things. And that's normal. That's perfectly normal. For relationships in life, that people don't participate in everything, in every way, with everybody who they have some kind of a relationship with. All right, I hope this is helpful. If you have any other questions for me, do send them to me at aaron@aaronbudgeon.net. Thanks.